Alright. What's good with y'all boys? We're back with another video. I'm watching basketball as of right now, but trade deadline did wrap up today, so there's a lot of movement that's going on around the association, so I thought I'm just going to jump on here and voice my opinions for most of the deals, mainly just the big time deals, unlike, the Warriors getting rid of Corey Joseph for a second rounder. That's not really, association changing, so I'm not really going to focus too much on those, but I'm going to get into the deeper ones and really voice my opinions. The first one that comes to mind, Gordon Hayward is out of the Hornets. The Hornets are going full rebuild mode, getting rid of that big expiring contract and the older legs that is Gordon Hayward. Going to the Thunder. Weird change. Not a change that I really saw coming. I thought the Thunder do need some veteran guys around their locker room and stuff, but I did more see them just staying with their youth as it was working down the line. But I don't really think they gave up too much in this deal. I'd have to get the details and stuff, but they didn't really give up a whole lot to get Gordon Hayward. He is on a big contract, but as I said, veteran presence in the locker room, which the Thunder do kind of need, I suppose, because they're a very young team, and for them to develop, they need to get some age. So that was a big deal that went down, really good for both sides. The Hornets continuing the rebuild and getting rid of the big money off their books so they can maybe look into free agency or so on and so forth. And as for the Thunder, veteran presence, going to be good for them. Next big deal, Buddy Hield, no longer a Pacer, gone up to the 76ers for some salary fillers, Marcus Morris, Furkan Korkmaz, and I think a first round pick. Good value for the Sixers. I don't think they were planning on using those two assets very much. With Marcus Morris being injured and Furkan Korkmaz, there was tension around the locker room for him for a long time. He was always debating his playing time and wanting to be released. So for them to finally release him, which is good, I've only just seen just then that Furkan is being waived, so he will not be playing any time with the Pacers. So it would be interesting to see if any team wants to pick him up on a smaller deal, which he can be good for some teams, gives you good shooting some nights, so he'd just be a good impact off the bench. As for Buddy Hield to the Sixers got what they were looking for, a good third option. Buddy, throughout the course of his career, has been one of the better shooters in the league. I'd say top 3, top 4, depending on who you ask. Just a flat-out shooter, scorer. He'll be able to give 15-odd points a night to the Sixers and actually be consistent, unlike what most of their roster has been for the whole year. Give Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey some extra shooters so people can score outside of just those two, which is going to be really good for them. As for the Pacers, didn't really get much out of this deal other than this first round pick. It's good. I did see the Buddy Hield trade coming. I didn't really know what his value was. And I did like Buddy Hield's fit with the Pacers. So for him to now be gone and not be in that uniform anymore kind of does suck, considering they were building something good around Pascal and Tyrese. But at the end of the day, he was on a bigger contract, so to clear him out is good for the organisation. PJ Washington is gone to the Dallas Mavericks. Hornets have absolutely cleaned up shop. Dallas Mavericks, PJ Washington, huge news for them. They get a good third option down low. Actually get a good big scorer, which is huge for them. Gives them a third option, and the scoring doesn't have to always be through Luka and Kyrie. It's been shown in the last few games that Kyrie and Luka are doing majority of the scoring, and it's just getting ridiculous. So for them to bring in PJ Washington, who's a quality scorer and has been for the Hornets over the last few years, is absolutely huge for them. Dallas continuing to build. Hats off to them. I'm they did need to make a move during this deadline, and they did exactly that. I'm sure Coach Jason Kidd will be wrapped with this. It'll give him more options to use down low and have more post presence compared to just what they've been doing and just straight up running their guard play flat out and just having, Derek Lively and Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber just filling these big positions where they're serviceable NBA players, but they don't bring that star power off like PJ Washington will. PJ Washington will score the ball for them and do the other little things like rebounding. His defending is very so-and-so, but Derek Lively has shown through the first 45 or so games of his career that he's a good defender. So PJ will be able to fall back on him. But great trade for the Mavericks. The Hornets are just, as I said, they're cleaning up shop. They're getting rid of everyone. It's about time they did that. All of their bigger contract guys are now gone, so only time will tell what will happen with that, but I do think the Mavs won this trade. They will look a lot better in the now. So for that to happen will be really good. Big deal, weird deal. Actually wasn't really a big deal, it was just more of a little deal, but like in the grand scheme of the NBA as a whole, it's a bit of a big deal. Patrick Beverley is a Milwaukee Buck. Bit of a trade we didn't really see coming. I think he only went for a couple of second rounders or so. But as we all know, Dame and Pat Bev haven't had the best relationship in the NBA over the course of their careers. So it'll be interesting to see how those two blend. I think they're both very, very professional guys. So I think that they will sort each other out and sort out their differences and compete for what they really want, which is a championship. Pat Bev, I saw a clip, he's already gotten on the phone with Dame and he's talking to him saying, let's lock in to win this championship, which is good. As I said, they're professional guys. I feel like they're going to get over their differences. A lot of it was just on-court stuff, so on-court stuff a lot of the time you can sort out. When it becomes more personal, it's a different story, but they're going to be able to sort themselves out, and Pat Bev, team-wise, is going to give plenty of defense, as he always does, defense intensity off the bench for the Bucks. Really good to see. He's in a better place as he was now. I think Philly was a good place for him. He was doing all those little things for Philadelphia, but I think he's a better fit with the Bucks. The Bucks needed some defense off the bench, and they are going to get that. More so guard play. He's not really going to be Drew Holiday on the offensive side of the ball, but back in his prime, he was one of the best perimeter defenders in the whole association. So it will kind of fill that Patrick Beverley, Drew Holiday hole, that they had. So for that to happen will be great for the organisation. Spencer Dinwiddie, direct trade, Nets and Raptors, direct swap. Spencer Dinwiddie is now a Toronto Raptor, and Dennis Schroeder is now gone to the Nets. Bit of a different deal. We did kind of know that Spencer Dinwiddie wanted out of the Nets. So for him to be traded, I'm not too surprised, if I'm being honest. But as for Dennis Schroeder, he was playing really good basketball with the Raptors. He was impacting night in, night out, assisting, actually scoring the ball at a higher clip than he has for the last few years of his career. So he was getting the space that he wanted. When he comes over to the Nets, he will still have the ball in his hands a fair bit, but they do have guys like McCall that want the ball in his hands. Cam Johnson wants to get his shots up. Nick Claxton, he's going to hit the boards hard and get a lot of putbacks. But those sort of guys are going to take the ball out of his hands a little bit, so that might affect his play time. But as for the Nets as a team, he's going to find those players because I feel like he is a better playmaker than Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie was a playmake second kind of guy. He would always shoot the ball first. So for them to get a pass first guy at that one position is going to be huge for them. As long as he can stay around and be consistent like he was at Toronto, it's going to affect them massively. Last big deal that I'm going to touch on, the Knicks and the Pistons get a big deal done. Quentin Grimes finally gets out of New York like he's wanted to. Same thing with Evan Fournier. They've both been trying to get out of the association for some time now. So for them to finally be freed from the Knicks is great for them. Hopefully they get some playing time. Malachi Flynn as well, bit of just a roster filler. So they have been moved to the Pistons for Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. Alec Burks, as we know, was a Knick a couple of years ago. So he's back to where he belongs. He fit really well with the Knicks coming off the bench, so he's going to do the same thing for them, I have no doubt. And Bojan is a big three, can shoot the ball, can spot up, can make his own shot if you need him to. The Knicks needed this. The Knicks needed a three, especially a bigger three, because for most of this year they've been running Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo as that three, but as we know, they're smaller guys. They should be playing guard a lot of the time. Even though Josh Hart is one of the better rebounding guards in the whole association, they do need more size. So for him to fit in alongside Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, he doesn't really need the ball in his hands a whole lot, but we know he can score without the ball in his hands or with the ball in his hands. So for them to pick him up for 2 second-round picks and a lot of guys that they really weren't using is huge for them. Alec Burks as well is going to be a spark plug off the bench, going to fill in that role for them. It's going to be good. Big day, big deals, it's done now. Trade deadline, teams are locked coming into the postseason. So we'll see what happens now. Kind of disappointed that my Warriors didn't really make a move, cleaning out some of this youth and maybe buying into Steph. But it doesn't always happen like that. Mike Dunleavy Jr. hasn't really been too excited to pull the trigger on any sort of deals ever since he got to the team. So it's alright. We're looking a lot better. We just come off our 3rd straight win, just beat the Pacers today. So hopefully we can start to piece it together. Injuries can start to come back and we can start to look a little better. But yeah, that's enough about my Warriors. That's all I really wanted to say today. Big day, trade deadline, craziness. Wasn't a big deadline, wasn't like any big names, but a lot of smaller moves that do change teams quite dramatically, which I think is good. In my personal opinion, that's a good trade deadline. A lot of big stars I don't like seeing move to another team halfway through the season. So to have a trade deadline like this one is perfect for me. But yeah, that's everything I want to say. Big day. Love the moves that happened. There's a couple of winners, a couple of losers, but we'll get into that later on. We'll see how the teams mould with their new players. And yeah, that's it. Liking, subscribing would be great for anyone watching this video. Just want to get my name out there and try and really build on this thing, and appreciate any support that comes along with it. Stay safe, guys, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.